Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to my 3 Takeaways episode from the Chris Fowler interview that I just posted this past Monday. I mean, I just have a huge smile on my face just saying that, just knowing that I had Chris Fowler on my podcast, because I've just been such a big college football fan ever since I was young, ever since I was 8, 9, 10 years old, and I can always remember like designing my weekend around starting it off watching College Game Day with Chris Fowler as the host, and I always so look forward to it, and I still do it. Like, I'm probably not as into college football now as I used to be, but I am more into College Game Day than I probably am into the games themselves. I don't even know why. It's such a great show, and he's not on there anymore, but he built the foundation for the show over the last 25 years. More than the foundation, he built it to what it is today, and it's such a special show, and it's so fun to watch. It's so fun to be a part of. Like I said in the interview, I've been there 5, 6, 7, 8 times, and it's just so special. And just honestly, during the interview, he talked about so many amazing life things too. We talked about some College Game Day stuff, which was awesome, but he talked about so many different life lessons that he's learned throughout his life and that he was trying to impart on you guys and impart on this audience. And I just hope that you guys really paid attention. I hope you took some notes. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you start to live out some of the things that Chris talked about and some of the things that I'll get into. But before I get into it, if you're struggling with consistency, if you're struggling with motivation, if you feel like you need a little bit more structure in order to get closer to your fitness goals, then you need to check out my Best You 10-week fitness goal setting program, because I want to help you first off set your goal, because what I've found is a lot of people don't really know how to set the appropriate goal, but I'm going to help you set a goal that's worthy and winnable. Then I'm going to help you create a strategy of the 2 to 3 things that you need to make sure that you focus on every single week for 10 weeks in order to achieve that goal. And those things are going to be things that you believe will help you achieve the goal, and they're realistic. They're something that you're willing and able to do. And then we'll all put it on a scoreboard, and then we'll have accountability sessions every single week. It's going to be awesome. And you will, I guarantee you, see results that you want to see. So go to nickcarrier.com/10-week programs to learn more. Again, nickcarrier.com/10-week programs to learn more. But for now, let's dive right into my 3 Takeaways episode with Chris Fowler. Number 1 is long-term is overrated. He talked about this pretty early on in the episode, and it was profound. He's talked about how it's not important to figure out what you want to do at a young age. It's more important to figure out what you don't want your life to look like. And this is coming from a guy who knew he wanted to be a sports broadcaster at a very young age. He knew what he wanted to kind of do at a very young age, but it came into play when he made the jump over to ESPN, because he got the advice to stay at a local news station and write it out there, and that was really the more conventional route. But he's like, I don't really want my life to look like that. Like, I know what it is, but I don't see myself wanting to do that. I want to take this leap of faith, and he trusted his gut. And I can very much relate to this. Like I said in the episode, I majored in finance and insurance when I was in college, and I thought that that's what I needed to do because that's what I studied. And then I started to do fitness training, and I had a huge passion for it. But then I started to think about, what does long-term look like? And I had no idea. It was such a murky vision. And so I was like, oh, since I don't know what long-term looks like, I can't do it. So I'm going to do something else first. But then I realized, I almost had this realization that Chris talked about. I don't need to know what long-term looks like yet. I can create what long-term looks like along the way. And I can create the life that I want to live along the way. And so I think that's such an important thing to think about, especially when you're young, but even when it's not like ever too late, in my opinion. It's never too late. You want to figure out what you don't want your life to look like. I think that was so key. So long-term is overrated. Takeaway number 2 is preparation is key to all success. I mean, we talked about preparation so much during this interview, and he kept coming back to it when he kept going on different lessons. And the quote that he brought up, I can't remember who it was from, but it was, you have to have the humility to prepare and then the confidence to perform. And without having the first, you can't have the second, because he talks about how preparation gives you confidence. I mean, he gave the example during the episode, during the interview, and he showed his notes for the podcast that he was going to have later that day when he was interviewing Eddie George. And he's like, I've known Eddie George for 22, 25 years, and I still do this level of preparation, because you never know where you could turn the conversation. You never know what's going to come up. And so you want to be prepared for everything. And then he talked about how, I thought this one was really important. He talks about how when he called the World Cup in South Africa, he had to prepare for about 9 to 10 months for that World Cup, and he prepared for everything. He had to learn about the whole background of the country so he could talk about that during games. He had to prepare for that because, like, What if riots happened or whatever it was, right? But preparation is so key because it allows you to have a relaxed intensity when you're performing. I love that. I haven't heard that phrase before. When he said it, it rang true. You have to be able to have a relaxed intensity. And only can you have that relaxed intensity if you're confident in the moment. You can only be confident in the moment if you've prepared. That's why I hate the phrase, fake it till you make it. Now, there's certain applications of that phrase that make sense, but a lot of times people think fake it till you make it means like, okay, I can go in not having all the answers and not really prepare and just fake it. But it's like, no, you have to fully prepare in order to have full confidence. Because like there may be some people that you can fool that you haven't prepared and that you don't have confidence, but you can show off to them that you do have confidence. But a lot of people are going to be able to figure you out. And you're going to know deep down that you don't have true confidence that you would have if you prepared to your fullest. So you're going to have your highest level of performance if you can have that relaxed intensity. You're going to have that relaxed intensity if you're going to have full confidence. You can have full confidence if you fully prepare. And then takeaway number 3 was be a human in the moment. And this one was it's simple yet profound, because I asked him how on College Game Day episodes that they did when they were trying to capture an emotional moment. So they had a College Game Day episode after the Virginia Tech scandal, after the shooting scandal, after 9/11, after the Penn State scandal. And I asked him, how can you kind of create a positive atmosphere, because that's kind of what the show is. It's kind of creating positivity, kind of creating hype, but still capture the emotion. He was like, well, you don't necessarily try to create positive emotion. He was like, you're a human in the moment. You sense the feeling, you sense the emotion of the campus. You sense the emotion of the people around you, and you capture it, and you document what's happening. And I thought that was so profound, because I can see myself, if I was somebody who's like going into calling that game day, thinking about like, oh my gosh, I want to make sure I say the right thing. I want to make sure I capture this moment, and overthinking it, and not just being a human in the moment, and not necessarily maybe being able to say the right things. And to kind of lead off of that, he talked about how every single time College Game Day intro, like when it came onto the air, he never had it scripted. He never had it scripted because he wanted to be a human in the moment. That was what was going to deliver the thing that the audience would like the most and relate to the most. And the way he was a human in the moment is he would prepare, right? Going back to preparation, and he would be on campus for the last few days, and he would know the history of the rivalry or the game that was coming up. And so he maybe had a little bit of an idea of what he was going to say, but he never scripted it. He would capture the emotion that he could feel, and then he was a human in the moment. So again, guys, my 3 takeaways. Number 1, long-term is overrated. He said it's not important to figure out what you want to do early on in life. It's more important to figure out what you don't want your life to look like, because that's going to orient your decision making. Takeaway number 2 is preparation is key to all success. I mean, I could go days and days about this, but again, preparation leads to confidence, and confidence leads to a relaxed intensity, which allows you to perform at a high level. And then takeaway number 3 was be a human in the moment. Don't overthink things. Don't try to be inauthentic because of the circumstance that you're about to be in. Be a human in the moment and capture the emotion of the situation. I hope you guys enjoyed these 3 takeaways, and I know you enjoyed the interview with Chris Fowler. If you enjoyed it half as much as me, then I did something right and he did something right, because I was ecstatic about it. And I couldn't be more ecstatic about it when I went back and listened to it, and when I just think about it and everything like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I hope you enjoyed the 3 takeaways. Make sure you subscribe to the show. Make sure you share it with a friend or family member, because I know you know somebody who's a college football fan who is out there and would love to listen to Chris Fowler. You might not know how big of a college football fan they are. You might not know how much they really love Chris Fowler and how much a legend he really is, but share them the episode and they are going to absolutely love it. Make sure you rate and review the podcast, and make sure you, most importantly, start to take action on these things and start to take action on the things that Chris talked about in this interview, so that you can get closer and closer to your best you.